The starship Pioneer drifted silently through the Vega expanse, its polished hull reflecting distant starlight like a shard of glass. Captain Reed Marlowe leaned against the edge of the observation deck, staring at the infinite blackness. Engineers and technicians moved through the corridors, their footsteps muted against the hum of the ship's reactors. Marlowe, a human engineer, was known across the fleet for his uncanny ability to repair nearly anything, from malfunctioning hyperdrives to alien technology that stumped the most brilliant minds. Today, his task was unusual but intriguing. A distress signal had come from an uncharted planet, a verdant world where no human fleet had ever landed. Reports indicated an alien presence, possibly intelligent, but there was no mention of hostility. As the ship's engineering lead, Marlowe's job was to assess and, if necessary, assist. When the landing shuttle touched the planet's surface, the air shimmered with iridescent mist, painting the world in shades of violet and teal. The planet's flora pulsed faintly, almost as if breathing. Marlowe stepped out first, toolkit in hand, followed by a small security escort dot. It did not take long before he saw her. She emerged from a grove of luminescent trees, her presence commanding yet serene. Her skin was a soft metallic hue, catching the light like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed a deep amber. She carried herself with such confidence that the soldiers instinctively lowered their weapons, sensing no threat. "Hello," Marlowe called, raising a hand in greeting. "I'm Reed, human engineer. We received your distress signal." The alien woman studied him for a long moment before smiling. It was not a smile of malice or suspicion, but of recognition, as if she had anticipated his arrival. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice musical and resonant. "And I thank you for coming." Marlowe stepped closer, extending his fist in a casual gesture, a common human greeting among peers. "Fist bump?" he asked with a grin, forgetting entirely the weight of formalities in alien customs. Lyra tilted her head, regarding him with amusement. Then, without hesitation, she mirrored his gesture, their fists meeting with a soft thump. Marlowe laughed, unaware that this simple act would ripple across galaxies dot in the capital orbiting her home planet. The Imperial Council had convened urgently. The news was staggering. A human had fist-bumped their newly crowned Galactic Queen, the one who had been hidden in exile until political tides shifted. Lyra had ascended quietly, her coronation a secret known only to a select few. Yet images, transmitted by automated drones, showed the unmistakable act. Back on the planet, Lyra guided Marlowe and the team toward the source of the distress signal. It led them to a sprawling facility, buried beneath a crystalline canyon, partially collapsed and sparking with damaged energy conduits. Holographic. Panels flickered, displaying data in a language that shimmered and shifted in form. Marlowe's eyes lit up. This was no ordinary technology. It was advanced beyond anything humans had encountered, a blend of energy manipulation and bioengineering. He knelt, scanning the panels with a portable translator. "Fascinating," he murmured. "This system, it's alive, in a sense. It responds to touch, thought, and even emotional states." Lyra watched him closely, curiosity evident in the tilt of her head. "You humans adapt quickly," she remarked. "Your minds are flexible. Perhaps that is why you have survived as long as you have." Marlowe chuckled. "We adapt because we have to. Besides, it's kind of fun figuring out puzzles that other people think are impossible." He reached toward a panel, fingers brushing against its surface. Light rippled across his skin, and the machine responded, realigning damaged circuits. Sparks of energy danced harmlessly across his hands. "Remarkable," Lyra whispered. "You do not fear it. You do not hesitate." "It's what I do," Marlowe replied simply. "I fix things. People, machines. Sometimes even situations that seem hopeless." As the day passed, Marlowe worked tirelessly, repairing the facility's energy conduits and reactivating its systems. Lyra stayed close, assisting where she could, her abilities subtle but precise. She could manipulate the energy with ease, bending it to her will, but she allowed him to take the lead, observing quietly. By nightfall, the facility hummed with restored life. Crystalline towers lit up, channels of energy flowing in perfect harmony. Holographic maps revealed the planet's underground network, showing not only its infrastructure, but the delicate balance of its ecosystem. Why was this facility damaged? Marlowe asked as he wiped sweat from his brow. Lyra's expression darkened. A rival faction attempted to seize control of my planet. They underestimated the strength of my people and the loyalty of those who remained behind. This was their message: to disrupt, to instill fear. Marlowe nodded. They chose poorly. He paused, then hesitated. You handle yourself like someone who's led before. Why hide it? I had to, she said simply, to protect my people until the moment was right. Leadership is not always about showing power. Sometimes it is about patience. For the first time, Marlowe realized the weight of the encounter. The alien woman he had casually fist-bumped was no ordinary diplomat or rebel leader. She was royalty, a queen whose influence stretched across star systems. Yet in that moment, she had treated him as an equal, not with the pomp or distance expected of her station. That night, as they set up a temporary camp within the facility, Lyra and Marlowe sat by a softly glowing pool of liquid crystal. The air was warm, scented faintly with alien flora, and the stars above twinkled through the transparent ceiling. You humans are fascinating, Lyra said. So bold, so direct. You do not hide behind protocols or fear. Marlowe shrugged. We have to live fast. The universe isn't going to wait for us to learn politeness before throwing problems our way. Lyra laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Perhaps that is why you are alive, while others would have perished. You face the unknown with your mind and your heart. That is admirable. As the conversation continued, the distant hum of the facility grew louder. Systems were stabilizing, energy channels syncing with the planet's natural currents. Marlowe felt the thrill of satisfaction, but it was tempered by a growing sense of responsibility. He had come to fix a machine, but in doing so, he had become part of something far greater, a fragile balance between a fledgling queen, her people, and the universe itself. The following morning, a fleet of ships appeared on the horizon. Not human ships, but alien cruisers, sleek and vast, their hulls glinting in the alien sun. Lyra stood at the facility's highest terrace, her eyes scanning the formation. Marlowe followed, unsure of the protocol, but trusting her lead. They are here, she said calmly. Not to attack, but to acknowledge. My rivals have surrendered their claim. They recognize my authority, and they honor it. Marlowe raised an eyebrow. And what about me? Do I get an official title for accidentally? F.I.S.T. bumping a queen? Lyra smiled, the corners of her eyes crinkling. Perhaps friend of the queen will suffice. You have shown courage, humility, and skill. That is worth more than any title. The fleet descended in a synchronized display of light and power, docking with the facility and opening communication channels. Lyra addressed the assembled commanders, her voice carrying with quiet authority. Orders were given, alliances reaffirmed, and a new era for her planet began. Through it all, Marlowe stood beside her, a witness and participant in history, still marveling at the improbability of the day. Weeks passed, and the facility became a hub of interstellar collaboration. Humans and aliens worked side by side, trading knowledge, repairing damaged systems, and exploring new technologies. Marlowe was often sought out for his expertise, but he remained humble, seeing himself not as a hero, but as a problem solver. Lyra visited him often, sometimes to discuss engineering challenges, sometimes to simply walk through the crystalline groves and observe human reactions to alien phenomena. Their bond grew, built on mutual respect, shared curiosity, and the occasional light-hearted gesture like fist bumps. One evening, as twin moons rose over the horizon, Lyra turned to him. "You have changed more than this facility," she said softly. "You have changed how my people view humans. You reminded them that we are not so different, that courage and kindness can exist across species." Marlowe shook his head. "I didn't do anything special. I just fixed what I could." "You did more than fix machines," Lyra insisted. "You bridged worlds. That is a rare gift." As he gazed at the stars, Marlowe realized that the universe was vast and unpredictable, yet human ingenuity, resilience, and spirit could leave a mark even on the most distant planets. He had come as an engineer, a solver of mechanical problems, but he had become part of a story that would be told across galaxies. The story of a human who, with a fist bump and a willingness to act, touched the life of a queen and changed the course of history. And somewhere in the quiet corridors of the crystalline facility, Lyra smiled, knowing that the simplest gestures, trust, courage, and friendship could ripple farther than any fleet, outlasting wars, politics, and time itself. The Vega expanse no longer felt infinite and indifferent. It felt alive, full of possibilities, and above all, filled with humans who could rise to meet the unimaginable. Marlowe returned to his workbench, tinkering with alien circuits, unaware of the fame that quietly spread through the stars. For him, it had always been simple. Fix the problem, help those in need, and never underestimate the power